Hey everyone, I'm Bailey and welcome into the exciting video that we have on tap for you today. I know there are so many of you that have wanted to start your own business per se, but you never had maybe the money to do it, the time to do it, or you didn't think you had a big enough social following on Twitter or on YouTube to really make it be successful. Well, today I'm going to show you a method of selling t-shirts that works. It's not just simply selling them, it's a very systematic way of selling them that I believe can help you guys make a few $100 over the next couple months. It's not something that's going to make you millions, but think of it as you have a chance to make a few $100s over the next few months. Now, I know a lot of you guys have tried to create Call of Duty teams. I created a video almost a year ago on how to do that. And obviously there is some money in that if your team becomes, like a pro team, if you're doing competitive, if you're doing like a sniping team yet, you can make some money off that ad revenue. But that's a long-term game. You're playing a long-term game because odds are if you created a Call of Duty team today and you wanted to be a competitive one, you would probably not even get in on the World War II season at a competitive level, at a high level, because your team just simply wouldn't have the talent that quickly to achieve that, and you probably couldn't recruit, players that already had that skill set that could work together. So that's a long-term game. This t-shirt thing is more of a short-term game, and you can start making money on this right away. It's not going to make you, again, millions of dollars, but this is a great chance to start making some money without investing anything or having a large social following or even requiring that much time besides the initial time that's going to be required to set this up. So let's break this down. I'm going to explain to you how you can do this for free and start making some money on the internet without even leaving your bedroom. So step one to creating your t-shirt brand is you're going to need to find a niche. And if you don't know what a niche is, basically it's a very specific group of people who are interested in a very specific thing that you can attack and market to them. This isn't going to be like a group of people like, say, Call of Duty fans or Minnesota Vikings football fans where there's millions of people in this group. This is going to be a very small, very specific group. This could be people who, like, say, own hedgehogs. That could be a very specific group because not everybody owns a hedgehog, but the people who do own pet hedgehogs are very interested in hedgehogs. Now you're probably thinking, how do I find one of these specific niches? Well, if you have an idea, the best thing to do is go on Reddit and look it up. So once you think you have your niche idea, my example was hedgehogs. I go on Reddit, I type it in the search bar, and this is going to give me an idea of how big of a subreddit there is for this. Now I've already looked at both of these subreddits. The anything's hedgehog, the hedgehogs with an S subreddit, is relatively inactive, whereas the hedgehog Reddit is active. So that's going to be our example. There's 15,000 people on Reddit that are interested in hedgehogs, whereas if I looked up a video game like Call of Duty or Monster Hunter right now, there would be an insane amount of people interested. But what we actually want is something small. I would say 10 to 20,000 is a great range, and we're hitting on that right here. So now you've got your idea, you know how you're going to brand your t-shirts. Now what you want to do is you want to design the t-shirts. And if you're thinking, I got no Photoshop skills, maybe you don't even have Photoshop, first of all, there's a free option for you. It's called GIMP. I will leave a link down in the description for that. And it's going to basically be a similar photo editor to Photoshop, but it's not quite the same. However, there is great tutorials out there to teach you how to use it. But you don't have to have, some complex idea of how to image edit to create a successful t-shirt. Everybody owns t-shirts that are relatively simple. Like, per se, they might only have text on. Everybody probably owns a shirt that only has words on it and no image. People buy those. I mean, you did. So our second step is actually going to be to access a t-shirt selling website. And there's a ton of these out here. If you guys have ever heard of like Cafe Press, Spreadshirt, those websites allow you to create a t-shirt on their platform, and then from there you can sell it also on their platform completely for free, and you might sell the shirt for like $19.99, $18.99. You make 10 to 20% of that. Basically, the higher you price the t-shirt, the more money you make on every sale. But you're looking at maybe making $2 to $3 roughly on every t-shirt sale if you price it at what is an appropriate price, which I consider to be about $20 for a t-shirt shipped to the person. And people are willing to pay that, especially if they're interested in this specific niche. So if I wanted to create hedgehog shirts, what I would do is I would go on Redbubble. I would take a look at some of the designs. You do see that some of these are relatively complicated, but there's also some that are relatively simple. Like I could imagine this cloud being on a shirt. That's a fairly simple design. You could make that on Illustrator. You could make that on Photoshop. You could even make that on GIMP. Put that on a t-shirt and sell it. Now some of these are more complicated, I will admit that, but there are shirts that sell that are relatively simple. So I would create a hedgehog shirt. Then after I'd created, well, maybe not one, maybe more like 3 different designs. I could even put it on, like pillows, phone cases, stuff like that, because people who care about hedgehogs don't get to see stuff all the time that have hedgehogs on besides Sonic. So they're going to be interested in this. Plus, Redbubble does run a lot of coupons. You see up here that they have a save 20% on your order. That's a great coupon for you to promote on your social media, because I do heavily recommend that you create a Twitter and an Instagram to promote your t-shirts. The reason being, I think that those platforms are the best is because they allow you to reach out to the customers. You can look up the hashtag hedgehogs on Instagram, and you can follow a whole bunch of people that are sharing pictures of their hedgehogs. Try and get them to follow you back, interact with them. They're the customers. They're the people that are interested in hedgehogs. You can do the same thing on Twitter. I do think with clothing, your best success will come on Instagram. So if you only want to choose one, choose Instagram and start sharing pictures of your shirts and pictures, of hedgehogs on there. Now, the easiest way, I think, to create a good looking t-shirt isn't necessarily to create an image from scratch. I think that that's a little bit complicated for a lot of people. What I recommend is you go on this site, Pexels. I think I'm saying that right. It's Pixels with an E instead of an I. Now, this site has royalty-free images. You can use these images completely 100% for free. You put them on a shirt, you sell it. They don't care. They've given up all rights to these images. Now, you look up virtually anything on this website, you will usually find it, even in the case of hedgehogs, which is kind of a niche thing again. Now, if I click on this here, it brings up a whole bunch of pictures of hedgehogs. You can just flat out put this picture square on a t-shirt. I don't think that would look the best, but what you can do is you can manipulate these images. You could cut out this hedgehog right here, and you could have him be standing on a piece of pizza in space or something, because you looked up another picture that was, space, and then you took that off of there, then you found a picture of a pizza, you cut that out, now the hedgehog's riding a pizza in space. That's weird and offbeat, and that would interest somebody a lot more than just simply putting this picture on a shirt and trying to sell it. So you can manipulate these images that you get on Pexels, which are completely free, and create an original artwork that you can then sell on the t-shirts and market through Instagram just by simply searching for the hashtag hedgehogs, finding these hedgehogs owners. Or another thing that I think is a very, under the covers way of doing it is you go on this subreddit, you share a picture, and I mean a picture, not a link to the clothing item for sale, a picture that you just share on Reddit. You say, I want to submit a link, you link it to like an Imgur post of a picture of the t-shirt. I can't stress this enough. A picture of the t-shirt. You share the picture on here just like all these people shared their Imgur pictures of their hedgehogs. You share a picture of the t-shirt, you put a witty line on it, and then somebody in the comment section, if your t-shirt is good enough, somebody in the comment section will be like, original link, or where can I buy this? That's when you come in with the link to your product. You don't link your product on Reddit. You put a picture of your product on Reddit. If somebody asks for a link, you give them the link, because if somebody asks, then it's good enough. If nobody asks, it's because they don't want to see it. Otherwise, if you just share a link straight to your product on Redbubble for sale, you will get downvoted into an oblivion, because nobody wants to be force-fed sales stuff on Reddit. They will downvote you like crazy. So sharing a picture of a humorous hedgehog shirt on the hedgehog subreddit and getting somebody to ask for the link because they want to buy it, that's the way to get in there. So that is how I recommend you sell t-shirts on the internet, again, at no cost to you. Of course, there's a million different websites you could use to sell them on. I mean, there's Redbubble, like I showed in the example. There's Spreadshirt, there's Cafe Press. There's, so many different options. I want to say I'm not sponsored by Redbubble in any way. The reason why I chose Redbubble is Redbubble has a 100% payout. So if you sell 3 shirts on Redbubble and you only make $6, Redbubble will send you that $6 to your PayPal. A lot of the other ones, I'm not going to name them specifically, but most of the other ones have a minimum cutoff where you have to say get $50 in sales before they will send you anything. So you could sell $32 worth of sales and they'd hold it in until you got to 50, and you may never get to 50 if you decide you want to give up on this or you don't want to do it anymore. So the reason why I recommend Redbubble is you will get paid even if you sell 1 shirt for $2. So you know that if you make a sale, you're going to get the money, and you don't have to sell, a ton of them just to get the money. You're going to get the money if you go with Redbubble. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Bailey, and I will see you in the next video. If you have any questions about this method, or you want me to clarify anything for you, leave your questions down in the comment section. I will get back to you and give you my 2 cents on this method.